Hey there, Angel of Galaxy, back with some more channeled messages for your loved ones. Thank you for clicking on my new channel. Any support is always much appreciated. Please like, subscribe, share, comment. Please support my channel. If you enjoy these messages, of course. What else can you do? Yeah, hit that notification button. And if these messages reach you loud and clear, then I've done my job. There will be some card reading at the end for those who haven't received a message. So just skip to the end if you don't want to listen to me waffling on. I'm joking. I hope you do. Anyway, remember, Spirit works through us in mystical and mysterious ways. These messages may not go to the intended person. They may be talking about someone you know. Could be their love lost one or a situation around you or them. You just may be this heavenly post person delivering communication where it needs to go. Very important job. If I say male or female, remember we have both aspects of the divine, feminine and masculine, so please take it as it resonates. Right. All right then, let's go. Okay, so my vision this morning. I saw this beautiful water fountain nestled in a public garden. It took me back to watching period dramas and how the ladies equipped with parasols enjoyed a leisurely stroll while conversing with other ladies or gentlemen. I saw delilahs, chrysanthemums, petunias, and now I'm hearing the queen of the garden, so that would be the rose. I saw camellias, ferns, rhododendrons, African violets, you know. And these were all favourite flowers of the Victorian era. I don't know, I always think back to like when I'm watching the dramas, like orchids in the drawing rooms, you know, adorning the drawing rooms. Ferns were a vogue plant in the late Victorian period, especially from 1840 to 1860. In the spirit of Christmas, I may pronounce this wrong, poinsettia were indoor plants. So we still have that tradition today, don't we, really? So the poinsettia, a commercially important flowering plant species, indigenous to Mexico and Central America, sorry, I don't know why I said Africa. Wow, I should get more sleep. It was first described by the Europeans in 1834. The plant is particularly well known for its red and green foliage and is widely used in Christmas floral displays. The poinsettia derives its common English name from Joel Roberts Poinsett, the first United States minister to Mexico, who is credited with introducing the plant to the US in the 1820s. Thought you might like a little bit of history on it. The reason why poinsettia are associated with Christmas comes from an old Mexican legend. According to the legend, a young girl named Pipetta was sad that she didn't have a gift to leave for baby Jesus at Christmas Eve services. Her cousin tried to comfort her and said that Jesus would love any present from her, even the very smallest one. With no money to buy a real gift, Pepita picked a bouquet of weeds that she walked past on the way to church. When she got there, she left the weeds at the bottom of the nativity scene. All of a sudden, the weeds transformed into beautiful red flowers, flowers of the holy night. There are other versions of that story, you know. One is of an angel came to her and instructed her to pick the plants. I didn't know this, but the poinsettia plant is also known as the Christmas star because of its star-shaped leaves. Alright, so here's my channeling coming up. So I'm hearing the name Constance. She lived a long life compared to others of her generation, she's saying. The sad fact of a prolonged life was seeing all the people who made up my life. Sorry, I'm burping. I do that when I'm trying to, sorry. My life for many years pass on. Yeah, that must be awful. I mean, I've lost quite a few people, but everyone, can you imagine? Apart from the younger generation. But I was blessed to be able to meet the newer generation. Okay. There's always an upside, she's saying. She married early on and was lucky enough to be with the love of her life for many years. I also survived him by many years. And I'm hearing Henry. All right. Her son was called Ernest and daughter Daisy. Now, but please don't be put off by names. I told you souls can piggyback on one message. So it could be a message within a message, all right? And my grandchildren, Alice, Lucy, Susie, Fanny, Frederick, Edgar, Matthew. All right. I see so much of myself in my descendants. Moods, characteristics, mannerisms, likeness. Loads. And it's so wonderful to see how a part of us still lives on, even when we have crossed over to the land of light. I fell asleep and drifted off and ended up here on the other side. It was wonderful, like waking up, you know, from a dream. There, standing in front of me, was my mother and father. I hadn't seen them in a long, long time. Oh, gosh. And my beloved husband. They were all in front of me. Oh, yeah, like a dream come true. A beautiful moment. An embrace, you know. Oh, love. All my friends come running. The people I'd stayed close to. Yeah, wonderful. Oh, okay. So at the moment I'm smelling like a delicate floral fragrance. It's quite understated. It's not like our perfumes. I wanted to say perfumes actually. Because, you know, ours can sometimes be quite overpowering, can't they? They knock you for sick sometimes. Yeah, it's a feminine scent. And it is of a particular flower. I'm thinking honeysuckle. But I know that they used to use jasmine and lavender, roses, you know. These all come to mind as well in their perfumes. Alright, so Constance telling me she was a fair lady, would always soothe any situation. She was wise, kind, loving, and extremely caring. Her life was full, even in an old age. She made the best of her ailing body, but still managed to be as mobile as she could. Gosh, I'm seeing this floral chair, but it looks so comfortable, you know. Not just any chair, you know, just like a sick person or an elderly person, you know, a riser and recliner. But it's the quality that strikes me. That would have cost a pretty penny, I would have thought. And she's telling me she always had fresh flowers because that made her very happy. They lift your mood, she's saying. Sometimes, yeah, I have flowers in my room for that reason too. Yeah. And I know Spirit like to give people flowers as gifts, don't they? Something living. Noticed that over the years. Alright, thank you very much for that. On to my next. So I just wanted to say that I recently received a message asking why my crystal ball is moving about and why I'm not gazing into it, not scrying. The answer is I use this ball to assist me in holding the energy. Plus visually, I think it looks pretty on camera and the way that the light reflects, because it's quite dull, this ball normally, so you get to see colours, and yeah, if it's just sitting there with no light on it. Alright. Okay, so there's a number of ways that will support holding energy in a room. It's not necessary to use all of these, but it is important to work with what excites you, I think. I also have a few lit candles in the room, and it's no coincidence that every church, temple and sacred place around the world will have candles. Candles are the highest and finest physical expression of spirit. To do any spiritual work and have a candle burning in that space invokes a deeper spiritual presence. The essence of fire is transmutation and cleansing. But I want you to keep in mind that it is in the awareness with which something is done that holds the power. For instance, if you are starting something new, particularly if I was starting something new, would relight, and I wouldn't relight an old candle. Sorry about that. I didn't sleep well. I buy a new candle specifically for the intended purpose, perhaps with a corresponding colour or perfume, depending on how I feel at the particular time, because this will enhance the effect of burning the candle in that space. It's also recommended not to blow out a candle. Our breath is a link to our consciousness, to the physical body. At birth, the first thing we do is take a deep breath in, and at the end of our incarnation, we let the breath go. In using our breath to blow out a candle, we are usually using our connection to life here to extinguish the light. I recommend a candle extinguisher is used and thanks are given as the flame is put out. Okay, sorry, I've got somebody distracting me in the background here, and it's not somebody alive. Okay. It's normal for me, don't worry. Alright, so I also use crystals, so I've dedicated my space with crystals, but you won't see them, the candles or the crystals, because they're in the room, not on this table. Every single thing I bring into my home is always blessed and cleansed with angelic light of the highest resonance. I regularly cleanse and sage along with my spiritual cleansing rituals for myself. So before I am up and about, I have done a lot of work. So I also love quartz. As like water, it has the ability to hold the energy of thought projected to it. I always give gratitude, and love it entirely radiates back to me and the space around. I also have ancestors' images in my space, along with an altar too, where I give, offerings now and again. Normally flowers. Okay. Right, so Spirit want me to talk about how many of us have the ability to interpret shapes and symbols in our esoteric or mystical way. It is called symbolic reading or esoteric symbolism. This practice involves interpreting the hidden meanings and messages behind shapes and symbols, often with the goal of gaining spiritual insight or enlightenment. And this lines me up to what I was walking past earlier today. So I was about to walk past a patch of paint spilled onto a pavement. As I looked a bit closer, it was blatantly obvious. The shape that had formed by this spillage was of a young girl's classic dress. Puff sleeves. Also, due to the thin line near the bottom of the skirt, it resembled a petticoat, as it separated the dress to form an undergarment. Two long pieces coming from one side of the dress looked like the ties that you would tie in a bow at the back of a dress. It was amazing. On one shoulder, a couple of tissues had moulded together, and after the rain had dried to form a figure that looked like a fairy, complete with wings. I guess this had been shaped by the downfall of rain and wind. Yeah, the figure looked like it was kneeling down and, you know, peering at something. It even had arms, you know, like when you would sit, you'd be on your knees and then your hands would be down by the side. What was really, really crazy about it was paw prints leading away from the scene. So I believe this little girl who's trying to contact me would have had a dog. I took a photo of all this as it seemed important somehow. You know, I even doubled back as I do sometimes, just to have another look. Moving the image to a different angle. Sat there with my cup of coffee. The skirt area shows another little girl in the darker areas. So it's like a picture inside a picture, you know, where you can see the pavement peeking through. Such a clear silhouette of a child's dress, shoes and a face. The paint also formed an arm and hand complete with fingers. It was extraordinary. So which soul has made me aware of this particular sign in my environment? So I came home to meditate, and sure enough, in my mind's eye, I saw a young girl heading down a hill. Such a beautiful rural setting. I can see her pausing to choose which direction to explore. She was making me aware of a multitude of interesting things in this plane of existence that were vying for her attention. She is, of course, showing me the other side of the veil. I hear Rosie being called. Such loving tone to her voice. Lots of outstretched arms and a feeling of warmth and so much love. The land was so beautiful. I had the impression it had many hidden recesses within this landscape. It seemed to go on forever. Nobody was speaking though, just using minds to communicate telepathically. This is a little girl who passed. Sorry, my music's stopped. Yeah. This little girl passed in the late 90s. She's telling me she was 4 years old, and I think trigger warning now, please. Alright, so she's showing me water. So this is making sense as we've experienced huge downpours recently. I saw a pool and a dog frantically barking, trying to get someone's attention. She's telling me that when her dog passed away, it was a German Shepherd I'm seeing. Again, take it as it resonates, you know. And they have remained together ever since. Also had other lives together. Very, very, very close, even on the other side. Thank you. And I have the name Irene, Shep, and Eliza. Please take it as it resonates and leave the rest for someone else to enjoy. Alright, lovely. Thank you for that. All from that on the pavement. That's crazy. Alright, so I have a quick pop in here. I have a man called Jack. He was in his late 80s when he crossed and wants to simply say hello to Andrea again. Take it as it resonates names. Jack owned a milliner shop. I believe would have been a person who designs, makes, trims or sells women's hats. He worked in the establishment for most of his life, he's saying, until it became too much, but really enjoyed meeting people. Such a people person. He was an important member of the community, a generous man who enjoyed life. That's nice. His shop is now something very different, but he still visits as he likes to come back to where he spent most of his life. I guess he was a little attached to the place, he's saying. So often the workers come in and feel my presence, but I'm not sure what they think they saw out of the corner of their eyes. I've moved things around, And the poor cleaner gets the blame for it, naughty. He's saying he's very sensitive, this guy. You know, the good cleaner though, he says. I often look to see if he's got every little bit of dust or, you know, anything that's been thrown under. No. Okay, so you never stop, do you? So this guy often looks behind thinking someone is there. And he really feels the change in atmosphere. Okay, so he's telling me that he overheard him explaining this to someone over the phone. But to his surprise, the guy was saying to whoever he was talking to that he really likes the energy and it doesn't frighten him at all. Alright, thank you very much for that. Yeah, thank you. Alright. So let's go into some cards, shall we? So my first card up is Death Was Painless. Alright. So when somebody passes away, I know myself, when I've lost loved ones, especially my dogs as well, you know, I've always wondered, because dogs can't tell you, have I done enough? Should I have gone to the vet earlier? You know, all those questions. Was my dog in pain when he maybe didn't need to be? And I think what we got to understand about death, yes, it may be painful in some ways. The process of dying is not painless, it's beautiful. But, you know, we have medication today, you know, which we can take. And normally when we are in a hospital, we're very much monitored, pain-wise. But what your loved one is saying here, and I feel this is a male coming through, but, you know, there could be females as well. Don't worry or hold on to guilt, you know. Guilt is just a negative emotion that we feel. You know, just like these birds have risen up and flying, he's free to do whatever he needs to do now. He's happy. He's with others here in the spirit world who are all free to do. So you can imagine, can't you, no more pain. When the body's ailing and it's breaking down, it's not nice to be in, especially if you, in your head, feel young, you know. Because a lot of people, I don't think a lot of young people realise that sometimes because you're aging, so, you know, an aging person can look in the mirror and think, gosh, is that me? Because inside they feel young. But yeah, try not to worry about that. Try not to keep going over whether it was painful and whether they suffered. What they want you to do on the other side is not carry on with that. They want you to celebrate their lives. I've been doing this a very long time, and that's the messages that I always get. And it's just they reoccur all the time. Nobody wants to be looking down on someone and feel that they can't do anything about your loved one here on earth grieving. Obviously, we have to go through the grief process. That is absolutely natural, don't get me wrong. But when you've done it for so long and it doesn't seem to be letting up, that's when this can cause all sorts of illnesses for yourself, whether they be mental or bodily. As a Reiki master, I move energy that could form to become quite serious diseases. They're trapped in our bodies, you know. So make your loved ones proud. Their Christmas present this year could truly be you celebrating them, you know. Set that table if you celebrate Christmas. Set the table for them. Leave them a little drink if they liked. Their favourite tipple that they used to have back in the day would be nice, you know. And know that they're happy. They're at peace. And actually, I think hell is on earth sometimes. We go through so much here, don't we? Now, the next card, which didn't surprise me when I shuffled earlier, was grief. Yeah. So here your loved one's saying, let go of grief. Grief and guilt go together, don't they, really? You know, a lot of the time. So just understand that their loss has brought you a new meaning. You know, you've learned something really important in life. Maybe because this person's crossed over, you've gone out of your way to meet new people, to give you new experiences, for instance. You know, there's so many ways you can look at it. I don't know why my eyes are drawn to this skating here, so there could be a memory here for somebody. And these trees as well. I'm not saying for everyone, but I just feel Canada or somewhere that would be like this. So, yeah, that's just coming to mind right now. Yeah, I know when you say this can be an opportunity to appreciate something, you know, appreciate that. That's what I was saying in a way, start to appreciate them. So it's interesting that this card has come up. But yeah, know that they're happy, know that they're settled. You know, grief is awful. I know it cut me to the core quite a few times in my life, but I've had to learn to let that go in order to bring in something beautiful. And I've met lots of other people, and I've learned a lot, you know, about myself from that process. So, but I know also as well, I'm very lucky because I hear my loved ones, and I see them, so that's crossed over. So, but even so, it's not like having them in the vessel here, where you can tangibly touch them, you know, hug them and kiss them. But anyway, so this Christmas, make a promise to yourself that you will start to think of them as happy. They're flying around here, you know, free as birds. All right. Okay, well, I'm going to leave it here. So again, thank you for clicking on my channel. Any support is very much appreciated. I'd like to end by thanking each and every one of you for watching. For a start off, thank you for my subscribers. I'm grateful and humbled to have a platform where Spirit and I can co-create to bring messages to people who need them. Stay safe, stay happy, and spread the love. This is a brand new channel, so if you've enjoyed, please like, subscribe, share, or you can do anything that you can lift my algorithms. Okay, hit that notification button. And so this will really spur me on to make more content. From my heart to yours, lots of love. Till next time, bye.